I can sum up the show for you with one word. Nothing. Nothing? Nothing.
Everybody's doing something. We'll do nothing. I still don't know what the idea is.
This is the show, and we're not gonna change it.
All right, everybody. Welcome back to episode 40 of This is the Show. I'm one of your hosts, Alex Webb.
Casey McGowan coming to you live from Connecticut. That's why I'm here.
Nice. Looking good, sounding good. And you definitely don't look like you might have COVID.
First of all, Merry Christmas, folks. It's Christmas Eve. Before we get into all that, Merry Christmas, folks. Happy Friday. Thanks for being with us. It's crazy out there right now. We hope you're having a decent Christmas. We hope you're healthy. We hope everything's going all right. It is a very COVID Christmas, but we're here. We're here for you guys. It's Friday. This is the show, 69@gmail.com. Right in. Happy Friday. Good to see you.
I feel like we're pretty much pros at the COVID Christmas at this point, you know?
Yeah.
You got the eggnog, you got the cookies, and you got the rapid tests just kind of all lined up on the desk, ready to go.
Stocking stuffer, rapid test.
Yo,
That's
honestly.
a big stocking stuffer this
For
year.
next year, that might be the thing. You know, there's the whole orange in there and then the stocking stuffer.
I want to point this out before we get too far. I'm wearing Alex's Christmas gift.
Nice.
To the
It looks
episode
good.
tonight. Yeah, I brought it to Connecticut with me.
How's it fit?
Fits good. I washed it and now it's good.
Yeah.
Yeah, good fit. Looks good, feels good. Yeah.
Getting a little, I think the mic is hitting the zipper of your, and it's kind of making a little zapping sound.
Oops. All right.
No, you're good.
Try and be aware of that.
No, you're good. So, episode 40, we got a couple emails to go through. We're going to talk about Christmas. We're going to talk about New Year's resolutions. We're going to do all of that. But first of all, we got to get it out of the way. Casey, what's going on with you? You're in Connecticut, but more importantly, do you have COVID?
Well, here's the thing, folks. I am in Connecticut. I went home for the holidays. I work a weird job, so I have certain days off. So if you don't live in New York or you don't follow the news, first of all, congratulations. That's amazing. I've never been more jealous of anything.
It's the best thing you could do for yourself.
But there's an insane COVID outbreak in New York City. We didn't really know about it until like this last weekend, like this past weekend and like week. Is kind of when it really went crazy. But everybody I know in New York City has COVID right now. I have a ton of friends that have it. Right in. You might have it. This is the show 69@gmail.com.
You have COVID?
Right?
We want to hear about it.
Yeah. So I left Sunday because it was my day off. My other day off was Tuesday of this past week, which would have been December 21st. So on Sunday, I tested negative. I had a rapid test. I was feeling good. I was like, you know what? Instead of waiting till Tuesday, I live with a performer. She's performing in a show. I was like, instead of upping the risk of waiting, why don't I just go back now on Sunday? I have a rapid test that's negative. You know, I'm feeling good. I'm looking good. So I go to Connecticut. I work. The last couple of days, I've been working here this week. Tuesday, the 21st, the day I was going to leave, I find out that my roommate, one of my roommates, tested positive for COVID. So I have an active exposure to COVID on the same day that one of my family members had an exposure for COVID. So good to keep it in the family. But,
yeah, that's good. That's where you want COVID.
So I had an exposure to COVID. And I don't know yet. I've been testing every day that I've been home and kind of staying away from my folks. I've been wearing the double mask and, whatever. And, we're waiting to find out. I'm a little congested today. We're recording this on Wednesday, so it's coming out on Friday. I'll definitely know by Friday. And
we'll tweet about it.
Yeah, we'll post about it when we post it in the Instagram. We'll just name the episode in case it got COVID, if that's the case. But so I don't know. I'm a little congested today. I sound it a little bit, right? I sound a little congested, I think.
It's a little stuffy, but it's not too bad.
I'm usually pretty stuffy, so it's hard to.
Yeah.
I kind of have a nasally voice as it is. It's like a weird.
I'm always congested.
That's the thing. I have like a weird voice. I have a deep voice, but it's kind of nasally, and you usually associate nasally with high. but I have like this deep voice, but also nasal. It's very strange.
Yeah.
Terrible voice, terrible person.
Yeah. No, you got a great voice. Come on.
But you know, I had a test tonight, little inconclusive. It was hard to tell. The top bar seemed more solo filled in, as Alex stated. We talked about it. But that bottom bar looks a little faint.
There was no bottom bar. There was no
Alex.
There was a shadow, but it had sat out. But as Casey said, it had sat out for a couple of hours or something. So to me, if it's sitting at like if you take out the test, you put it back in the box. I don't know. I've never done a rapid test, but I'm assuming there's a box or a contraption or whatever.
Yeah.
You throw that in there and you immediately see the 2 lines. Okay. No question. 2 hours later, you're coming back to it. There's a little shadow. Nah, that ain't it.
It wasn't 2 hours later. It was like probably within the same hour, but it definitely wasn't there when it first 15 minutes went up. So that's why I feel all right. So my plan is I'm supposed to get my booster shot tomorrow, which would be the 23rd, the day before Christmas Eve in the morning. So if I wake up and I feel worse, then it's kind of like, it's kind of a, I'm gonna go to the booster appointment and be like, hey, I was exposed and I don't feel that good. And they might be like, well,
what are you doing here?
Yeah, you might be like, go home. So
yeah,
we'll see.
Crazy.
That's my update.
That's wild. I've not really been in a situation that would, what's the word I'm looking for? Expose me to COVID.
I think you're all right.
Yeah, I'm at home. I did go out like a couple of days ago. I did some Christmas shopping. Got the wife a bunch of stuff.
Mask?
Oh, for sure. Yeah,
You're
yeah.
fine then. I think the mask is all right still.
And it was an outdoor mall. It's like you got to go into the shops, but when you're walking around, it's all outdoors. So
I think you should be all right. If you're wearing the mask, I think in general it's all right.
And a lot of people, which in Arizona you might not think people are masked up. People are masked up out here.
This new variant got people fucking scared, bro. And the crazy thing is, Alex, you brought this up before we hopped on the cast here on the show tonight, but everybody's tweeting. I've seen this joke 100 times where it's like, this is giving me March 2020 vibes. It's not for me, because you know what the difference between March 2020 and now is that no one I knew had COVID and got COVID that whole time. Right now, every single person I know has COVID. So many of my very close friends have COVID right now.
Yeah.
My family members have been exposed. My neighbor has it. Like, it's everybody has it. My roommate has it. It's insane.
I remember all through 2020, I think I knew of like a friend of a friend that had COVID, and that was it.
Yeah.
Now it's like everybody I know's got COVID. It's like, everybody that still lives in New York, or a couple people that live in like Las Vegas and Washington, but like the majority are all East Coast folks,
Yeah. So
it's
pretty spooky out there. It's a spooky Christmas. I'm actually glad that I'm in Connecticut and I've been safe around my folks, because if I do get COVID, I'm like, kind of be nice to get it here, not like stressed out about everybody having it in the city and, kind of the overwhelmingness. I'm like, it's a little calmer here. So, yeah.
There's this innate kind of pressure about, while being in New York City, where you're just like, I mean, that was my whole thing when I lived there. I didn't feel like I could relax the whole time I lived there. I mean, granted, I didn't leave the whole time I lived there. Like, I was in Manhattan and Brooklyn for like the whole time I lived there. I didn't go on a vacation. I didn't go upstate. I didn't leave, I went to Boston one time, but that was for like 2 days. 2 days in 2 years. You leave the island. Yeah. You gotta
insane.
Yeah, that's too
much.
I
leave New York whenever I get the chance. That's why I left on Sunday. I was like, I might as well go now. Maybe I can escape this COVID wave, but it didn't seem possible at the time. So I'm gonna wait. We're gonna see. We're gonna find out. I'm trying to be positive, not in that way. Positive in a
not too
way.
Positive.
Not too positive. But yeah, I'm feeling all right. I feel just a little congested today, but it's kind of I want to talk about this because like every person I know has had the same story of like feeling a little tired and a little like sinusy congested. And I just thought it was because I was tired and my allergies and stuff. And now every single one of those people I've said that has COVID. So I'm like, yeah, it doesn't seem good.
It's like 24 hours later, it's a different story.
Yeah. So, but I'll tell you, if I get COVID on Christmas, like, the year can only get better at that point.
That's true. 2022 is gonna, unless you get it again, because you can get it more than once. But once you get those antibodies in you, bro, you're fine,
Well, that's the thing is what's crazy is that like
you might already have them.
With this one now, what's insane is that everybody's saying like, you need the booster. You're like not vaxxed if you don't have the booster. And I was like, I thought I was vaxxed. And now it's like, I'm not vaxxed, like apparently. So I'm kind of nervous that I don't have a third shot of a vaccine. That's crazy.
Yeah.
But
I need that big boost.
Yeah. So my booster shot's tomorrow. So we'll see if I can get it. They might turn me away with an active exposure, but we'll try. We'll try.
Well, hopefully they can give you the test. So that way you can just like
find out.
Yeah.
That's
because I feel like if you
get a test right now.
Yeah. I feel like if you get a test tomorrow and then it comes back negative, like, all right, you're good. You know what I'm saying? Like, you don't need to keep, it's like, that's because it's been long enough from when you were potentially exposed by a roommate to know.
And in that case, there is a part of me that's like, I might as well just stay here until
that's what I was saying.
Because like if I go back I'm supposed to go back on Christmas
You're
night.
just going back into the wolves den.
So I'm like, if I am negative tomorrow, if I do like get a test the day before this episode comes out and it's negative, and it's been like 4 days since I saw the active exposure I had, I'm like, might as well just fucking stay here. Like, might as well ride it out through New Year's.
I completely agree. One, the idea of traveling on Christmas sounds
so sad.
Well, away from family. If you're going to family on Christmas and you're traveling, that sounds lovely. That's like sweet. That's the meaning of Christmas. You on a train going away, you're going to be the only one on the Metro North or whatever the hell the train is that you take. You're going to be the only one and you're going to be going the other way. And you're going to be, listening to Elliott Smith, looking out the window, eating a granola bar.
You know what song I'm going to be listening to? The saddest Christmas song ever. Have yourself a merry little Christmas. Dude, that is the saddest Christmas song ever.
Yeah.
So like, that song is meant to be played while you stand outside a warm, lovely household gathering while you're out in the cold, like with your hand pressed up against the window.
Yeah, so. I completely agree. You look up that song, you have yourself a Merry Little Christmas. The first thing that Google serves you is Sam Smith, which I'm not, Sam Smith, fine. Well, okay. First of all, Casey doesn't know who Sam Smith is. That's another conversation. But
fuck.
Yeah, it's like that's a Judy Garland song,
Yeah. Well,
that's a wartime classic right there, bro. That's it came out. I looked it up because I knew that Judy Garland sang it, and I knew that it was from the movie Meet Me in St. Louis because that's one of my mom's favorite movies. But 1944, that's like dead center of World War II.
Yeah, bro.
Well, sorry, bad turn of phrase there. But that was right in the middle of World War II.
And it feels like it. Like it feels like middle of World War II.
Yeah.
So, but yeah. So, if I test negative tomorrow, then I'll get the booster vax and fucking stay here, I think, and just ride it out. Cause like, going back into New York right now seems like a wild move. Well, here's the cough, but
there's the cough.
But yeah, it's crazy. So we hope that you're healthy. We hope you're having a healthy Christmas. Hopefully you got to see people. I know a lot of people didn't really get to travel because of this breakout. If you're in New York, some of our listeners. So we're sorry about that. So we hope if you're not with your family or if you're like isolating from family in the same house because of COVID, we hope our show helps. We hope you guys are having a happy Christmas Eve with us. You know
what you can do? You could always pop over to episode, what was that, 38? You can watch Home Alone with us.
There you go. Yes,
and
that's
you're really
right.
not alone.
Yeah.
So
watch
go back into the archives.
I might do it if I have COVID.
That'd be fun.
Christmas
it's like
Day,
hanging out with yourself and me.
Relive the experience.
It's like an existential, like third person experience.
But yeah, so it's crazy times out there, but everybody I know, this is the only perk. A lot of them have boosters, so who knows how I'll fare. But like most people I know that have it, and a lot of close friends of mine do have it, they said they're fine. Like they don't have like, crazy symptoms or getting knocked down sick. But, so hopefully that happens if I do have it or whatever,
Yeah. Now you'd be all
It's
right.
nice and decent. Yeah.
Anyways,
that's our update for see you folks after Christmas.
Yeah. Merry Christmas. Yeah,
Good
I
night.
got nothing, unfortunately. I've just been working. I'm off work. Well, that's an update. I'm off work now until, January 3rd, which is very exciting. I'm going to play a lot of video games. I'm going to do some art. I'm going to just kind of, fuck around the house. Not really, I've got like two house projects that I want to finish. And then, just kind of hang out. But what I was going to say was, we mentioned it up top that we've got an email. I was wondering, should I hop into the email, read that out loud? He's giving me the water thumbs up. All right, we'll get into it here. He's hydrating.
I'm hydrating. I really got to stay hydrated.
Yeah, you're going to need that.
Out. Yeah.
You're going to need it. All right.
Yeah, we got an email this week. So let's, if you want to read it, please.
Yeah, I will. Yep. So I got it pulled up here. This is from listener Emily. This is the, I believe, is this the second time she wrote it?
Second time. Right? Yeah. So thanks for writing in, Emily. We love you.
Yeah, no, this is awesome. She says, hey, Casey and Alex, hope you guys are doing well and gearing up for the big man to shimmy down the chimney. I'm writing in
phrase.
That's great.
Shimmy down the chimney. Love it.
Well, I'll tell you, unlike Big Apple, she capitalized big man. So just something to think about there. I'm writing in once again because I would love to hear your thoughts on these topics. I hope you don't mind. We never mind. We love an email.
We love it.
The first topic. So what I'll do is I'll read them. I'll read the first topic. We'll talk about it, and then I'll come back and do the second topic. Because if I read them both,
you don't want to just read the whole email as like do the whole email read.
All right.
And then we'll go back. Right. We'll go back.
All right. Well, yeah. We're never going back. We're gonna forget.
We're gonna go back.
No. We'll remember. Okay. All right. So topic number 1. Do you guys believe in New Year's resolutions? You guys got any? Should people be in charge of giving their friends New Year's resolutions? Ooh, that'd be an interesting one. And then also was wondering how you both feel about the concept of change, not coin related. Hilarious. How do you cope with change? Do you like change? Is change a good thing? Because I fucking hate it. Anyway, thanks for always making my Friday mornings a little bit more bearable, and can't wait to hear your thoughts. Best, Emily. Emily, thank you so much for writing it.
Thanks, Emily. We love you. Great email. So let's go back to topic number 1.
Topic number 1. Do you guys, we'll break it up in parts. Do we believe in New Year's resolutions, and do we have any?
Yeah. What about you? You go first.
I'll go first. I like the concept of New Year's resolutions. I hope I don't come off as like some sort of like pessimistic person on this show, but like I always like the idea of like new year, new you. I love that as like a general,
sure.
Which kind of transitions into the second thing of like, change. But overall, New Year's resolutions, I don't set too many for myself in terms of like, this is my resolution and I'm going to stick with it until March and then forget about it. What I've tried to do more than anything is like set goals for myself. So like, I'll be like, okay, by July, I want to do this, or by September, and kind of have like a rough idea, even if it's just a rough sketch, but just having a target to go for, I think is always important, which to me, New Year's resolutions, that's like the ground floor,
Yeah.
And then, so the follow-up question there is, do I have any? I have a couple goals, which is like, I want to go to the gym at least like 3 times a week. And I want to read every day for 30 minutes, which were the same goals that I had for this year, but I just want to continue to do those. And that's pretty much it. Yeah, I have like some like art project related goals, but I'm still trying to like sort that out. But yeah, that's me. Casey, what about you? Do you believe in New Year's resolutions, and do you have any if so?
So I believe in them as an idea.
Yeah.
I do not practice them because I have like this is just a me thing. I have like a weird OCD mental block where like if I think something in my head, if I go, this year is going to be my year. This is the year of Casey. The opposite will happen. Like if I put that out there,
It's like a jinx.
It's a jinx. I kind of have like a weird OCD jinx thing, so I can't engage with them. Also, I'm not like a pressure guy. I have so much pressure on me all the time from just being who I am. This nightmare of a human.
Just self-induced pressure.
Yeah. So I never want to add more unnecessarily that might, because I feel like if you're like, I'm going to not, and I say this a lot with sobriety, because I know a lot of people try to do dry January and like try it out.
Mm-hmm.
I always say, don't put like the pressure on it, because it makes it worse if you fail and you don't do it. You should just
I completely agree.
It shouldn't be, I'm not going to drink this month. And if I do, I'm a failure. It should be like, I'm going to try and not drink. We'll see what happens. Like, you know what I mean? That's the route I go. Never put those expectations too high, because then you can kind of get hurt if you end up, not doing that mentally. You can, even if you don't really feel it mentally, it's in there, it's in the back of your head a little bit. So for me, no, true. I don't do New Year's resolutions. Because I have a weird, like I said, like an OCD jinx thing that I believe in ever since I was a kid. Right. And then B, I don't like the added pressure of it. But as a whole, do I believe in them? Yes. I think it's a good thing. I think it's a good thing to think positive and to, manifest. I do believe a little bit. I know a lot of people make fun of it, but like, putting things out there and then trying to achieve them, like the vision board or like the power of saying that people make fun of that stuff. I get why people make fun of it, but I also understand why people do it. Like they both make sense to me as an idea.
It like reinforces the idea, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, totally.
If you say something, it might happen. When I was a kid, my mom used to always say to me like, hey, if you say, I used to be like, oh, I'm going to fail this test. She would say, don't say that. Say, I tried very hard and I hope that I'm going to do well. And I'm like hoping that I do well. It was just like putting it out there.
Like reframes it.
Yeah. Because I was so prone to negativity. LOL.
That's weird.
See how that's going as an almost 30-year-old. Yeah.
Surprised to hear that.
So I do think it's a good thing overall. I think it's a positive thing. I don't like it because, the pressure of it and that sort of stuff. I work the best when good things kind of just happen because of what I'm doing. And I also don't need, this is going to sound bad, but I don't need to tell myself to like do stuff in that way. I don't need to like put it out there as a New Year's resolution. I've learned with myself that if I'm going to do something, you just have to do it. That's the other side of like the not drinking thing of like, you got to put it out there, write it down, do a dry January, do all this stuff. Those are all good. But for me, it always comes down to, well, if you're going to do it, do it. Like,
I always just have to like start doing it or like start stopping or whatever you're doing.
Yeah. So like, writing is writing and not writing is writing. That's what I always tell myself about when people are like, well, I sat around and I thought about it forever. It's like, sure. But also, you got to kind of just do it. So for me, I don't associate those with like one time of year. That's just how my brain kind of always operates of like, if I'm doing it, I'm doing it. And that's cool. If I'm not doing it, I'm not doing it. And I don't feel bad about it. And then I just kind of exist in that. I mean, I feel bad about it, but like, not the extra.
You don't feel extra bad.
I don't have the New Year's.
It's just the regular level of guilt, not the pressure of letting yourself down on one achievable goal.
So that's the thing. And I do wish I could do them because I think they're good. Overall, I think they're good.
Yeah. No, I agree on like the whole idea of, well, I'll say this too, and kind of like adding on to it. I think that the more specific you can get with a goal or a New Year's resolution, the better you are at probably hitting that, right? Like rather than saying, I want to read more. Well, what does that look like? You know what I mean? Like how much do you read currently? And is 30 minutes more or is it the same? So it's like just saying more as a blanket statement, I think is kind of like just like more or less of anything, right? It's like, okay, I'm only, in the example of alcohol, if you just want to even limit the amount of alcohol that you consume. Like you say, okay, I'm only going to drink Friday, Saturday, and then Sunday, and the work weeks, whatever, fine, but so to me that's an important part of it. And then I actually try to start my goals for the next year like before January 1st. So like just trying to get the habit built in, because if I can do it during Christmas, then I can probably do it in like April, because in Christmas time, December, you're relaxed, you're letting yourself just kind of get away with a couple extra things here and there, because it's the holidays, like that's the whole big excuse, but for me, I'm like, if I can like truly, and I'm not proud about this is one of my my deep dark secrets is like that I vape, and I have for like a while. And so I'm trying to quit, or I am quitting. I've quit as of today, but I'm not trying. It's already happened, like the first day is done and over with, and this is the hardest day. Sure. But I also know that like, hey, I've tried to quit multiple times before. And so it's like, all right, I already know what that feels like. I already know how bad it sucks, but I try to get it out of the way now. Cause if I can quit, smoking or vaping now, it's going to be no problem, later.
Sure. Yeah, no, I get it. And I like the idea of like the specific goals too, because it makes it more attainable. And that's the whole thing with goals, is that they should be attainable. It shouldn't be like, I'm going to be on the Tonight Show in 2020. That's just not attainable. It should be like, I should try and write some new material and do well on shows, because that seems more attainable for stand-up rather than like, and then I feel bad because, Jimmy hates me or whatever, whatever. So like, but I also think that when it comes to New Year's resolutions or these kind of big statements of like, I'm going to do this year and that sort of stuff, to me, life is ebbs and flows. So unfortunately, to me, that's just how it is. I think it's like, I'm the opposite of Gary Vee, which is like some things you just can't force to happen. Like it just, you know what I mean? Like with weight loss, there's like a classic thing of like, when you first start to lose weight, you lose a lot of it really fast. And then it's really slow after that. Once you get to a certain point. And I had that. I dropped from 200 to 185, or no, like I think at my biggest, I was like 210. So like 210 to 185. And now I've just been 185 ever since then. But I'm not going to like beat myself up or try and force those things to happen. Cause I think eventually, like when things happen when they're supposed to happen. So like, when I stopped drinking, that was like when I stopped drinking. It wasn't because of a New Year's resolution. It was because of when it happened. And at the time that I did it, I was able to stick with it. Maybe in January of 2019, that wasn't the time for me to quit drinking. You know what I mean? Maybe it was February. Maybe that's when it was supposed to happen,
Yeah. No, I completely agree with that. I think that one, huge advocate of like things happen when they're supposed to happen for you, and like when you're prepared to take on certain things. Like I always think about it in terms of like the very easy kind of easy to imagine scenario of getting a job promotion, right? Like you get a huge job promotion, and then like that's a lot of new work, and like your scope opens up a lot, and you have a lot more responsibility. But if you were to immediately get another job promotion after that, it's like you wouldn't know how to handle it, right? It's like you have to kind of like understand what good looks like at what you're doing. And then to me, it's all about problem solving and critical thinking, like examining yourself. Have I made any progress? In what areas have I not made progress? Like for any goal, right? It's like, okay, if I want to, like in my example, I'm kind of on the opposite trajectory of you, where like I'm trying to put on weight, but make sure that it's healthy weight. So, okay, I'm going to the gym X amount of days, I'm doing X amount of workouts, but I'm not seeing success, or I am seeing success, but like, where can I get better still? Right. So it's just like that constant examining. But overall big resolution, like, just whatever makes you feel like you're doing better every year. It's like, do you feel better than last year? Great. Because dude, I'll tell you, I came up like a week ago, I was feeling like garbage about myself. I was like, I haven't done anything. I haven't, like this whole year's just chalked. Like I haven't done anything, measurable. And then I looked back on it and I was like, oh, damn, I did like a lot of stuff. And I did a lot of new stuff, like stuff that 2020 Al would have been like, no way, I'm not doing that. Or like, I'm not, good enough to do it. I mean, remember when we first really started talking about the podcast and I was like, I'm not doing that. Cause like, I was just like nervous or whatever the hell,
Yeah.
Look at us, bro. Episode 40.
Yeah.
I'm leaning back in my chair,
Well, you know what you did, and I think this is just as important to do rather than resolutions, maybe even more important to do, is you listed things that you did that year rather than like, this is what I need to do next year. It's good to do both, but you should give yourself the reminder of like, here's what I did in 2021. And a big thing for me as well is doing this podcast. We're on episode 40. If we didn't start it till January 21st, if we keep it going every week, we only missed like 4 episodes in a whole year. That's a big accomplishment. That's a lot of work. And we launched a YouTube channel, TikTok clips, the whole thing. Like we did so much. But if I'm only thinking about what I need to do next year, I'm not appreciating the fact that I did fucking all that work for this year.
Like we crushed. Yeah.
And
exactly.
you did that. You put it out there. You wrote it on Twitter. And I was like, that's a really good thing to do. And it made me take stock in what I had done in 2021. And I thought that was like a really positive thing. Just real quick for a second there, you almost hit the thesis statement of the show. You were like, resolutions, like they're great, but it should be, you were so close to being like, do whatever you want. Because you said do whatever makes you happy or whatever is the thing. And I was like, you're so close to the thesis statement of the show, which is do whatever you want.
I almost said it too, but
which is true. That is, if they work for you, they work for you. So, Emily, if you do them, then that's great. Alex and I are different, but we both understand the sides of it. So, I think it can be good, but yeah, maybe write down the things that you accomplished in 2021. That might be something to do. Not do it. You don't have to do that.
No, listen to Casey.
How about this? The second part of the question, should you make resolutions from friends? Which go ahead.
I was gonna say I'm into it.
I was gonna say that feels like maybe a boundary overstep to tell someone what they should do. But
that's like a novelty resolution. I'm not gonna tell you to change your health
to lose weight. Yeah, I mean that might be a little intense.
I'm like, honestly, Casey, what you could probably do? Cut back on those little oatmeal cookies. Well,
that's the thing is that when it comes to resolutions, I think you got to let the person do it. But yeah, I'm kind of into it to be like
a novelty.
This year you should tuck your shirt in every time you go out. You have to tuck your shirt in. Like that would be funny,
Yeah, that'd be good.
But yeah, I don't think big resolutions. I don't know if you should do that.
Yeah, no. Okay, so question 2 here. Wondering how you both feel about the concept of change, how you cope with change. Do you like change? And is change a good thing? We can break that up into pieces if we want, but
yeah, sure.
You go for it.
It's the worst part of my life. It's it's like my number one trigger of anxiety is big change. I can't handle change. I freak out.
Big change.
The big change. I can't handle it. It's like, it's the classic thing where my anxiety is rooted in routine and that sort of thing. I get anxiety for me is all about control and what I can control and trying to control things that I can't control. That's the problem with it. And so a big change like COVID, it fucking spirals me out. So it's like the worst. I fucking cannot handle it. I wish I could. It's a goal of mine to get better at handling it.
2022 resolution.
Yeah, 2022 resolution. Yeah, handle change better.
Yeah.
But yeah, so no, I do not handle it well. I handle it very poorly.
We didn't talk, we both read the email independently, but Casey and I did not discuss this beforehand, but I assumed that was going to be somewhat the answer of just nah, I'm out on change.
Well, you know me.
So true.
Anytime Casey does anything different, he gets a new roommate. He wants to jump out the window with a blood pressure cuff attached to his arm. I mean, my God, it's the worst. I'm with you, Emily. I fucking hate it, man. I'm so bad at it. I changed my like a big outfit change for me is like a big deal. I'm like, am I this guy? Am I going to wear this? Like, you know me, I wear, the same stuff every day. So it's like
Big Binford guy.
well, dude, this fleece, I was looking at our YouTube video. I have worn this fleece on a lot of episodes since we started video. I wear this fleece all the time because I don't like change,
Yeah. No, it's true. Yeah, I get it. I get it for sure.
Can I guess how you feel about change?
Yeah, hit me. Yeah.
You love it. He loves it.
I do. I love
He
change.
loves it. This is good. We're getting both sides of the coin here.
Which, Shelby, on a sidebar here real quick, she was like listening to the cast while she was showering, and she's like, you know what's like so funny and unique about your podcast? And I don't know if this was a compliment. I took it as a compliment.
We
just
take
to safeguard
anything,
my own.
Anything anyone says about the podcast, I take as a compliment.
Yeah.
I'm like, the fact that you
100%.
listen to have an opinion, that's a compliment.
Yo, 100%. But she was like, she's like, most podcasts, there's like disagreement and like, person A doesn't agree with person B, and there's like a conversation. You and Casey are just like, dude, honestly, yes.
Well, this is good. This is our first episode of not doing that.
I think we've had a couple of because I started to do an audit once you said that. I was like, no, I'm gonna start disagreeing out of spite now. Yeah. I was like, oh, you love cookies, bro? Well, guess what? I fucking hate cookies.
Well, I gotta be honest, I don't like those casts. There's so many of those casts where they're like,
Yeah.
I think this, and you're like, oh, I think this. You're like, we're in a green cast. We like each other.
And this is the real point here that and something that Shelby said was that like it's not just because we're trying to get it's like that's actually like that's just us, like we're always like on the phone. I'm like, yes, dude, of course.
Of course.
Yeah.
Yeah, our vernacular, the way that we speak is like in yeses and agreements. We speak in agreements. We can't talk.
The fact that we didn't do improv together is like incredible because we would have been able to go forever.
Yeah, yes, and well, that's the thing. That's why the podcast works so well. Now we're just complimenting ourselves.
Yeah. Good, bro. Someone has to leave a review, folks. Spotify, you can now leave stars. 5 stars. It doesn't accept a 4, a 3, or a 2, or a 1. It's weird. It just you can only do the 5 star.
Do the 5 stars.
Yeah. They really got to fix that. Yeah, go ahead.
Well, I was going to say the reason the podcast is good is because we do agree that's how we can get off on a topic and talk about it forever. Yeah. I've been on podcasts where somebody will bring something up and then that other person's like, I don't want to talk about that. They like shut it down. You're like, you can't shut it down. That's the whole show. The show is that we take a thing and we go with it.
And here's my biggest thing. Emily, I'll get to the question. Here's my biggest thing. Here's my biggest thing though, is like I have opinions that are different with the majority of folks, but I don't have the energy or I don't honestly fucking care to argue with anybody. Like I'm just like, I'm it's not like passivity. I'm like, I'm just neutral. I'm like, yeah, cool. All right. You don't think that I'm not a salesman for my opinions, like I'm not getting paid to think this shit. I think this thing over here and you think that vaccines don't work and I'm not Fauci, Fauci's getting paid to convince you. I'm not doing all that. That's a bad example. I should be advocating for vaccines, but, but I'm fucking not,
Me neither, bro. I don't want to do that. Get out of here.
Yeah. Well, because honestly, don't listen to me, like I don't know what I'm talking about half the time. So
it's do whatever you want. That's the thing is that we land on do whatever you want. So sometimes when you and I do disagree, we can end up in that position where you'd be like, I liked it. I'm like, and like, that's the end of it. Like, it doesn't,
and that's the conversation.
We don't have the energy to like,
there are certain things that are very trivial where I'm like, no, here's why the Lord of the Rings is phenomenal. And then like, but it's very trivial, like meaningless stuff,
What's something we've argued about before? I'm trying to think what like our big argument on the show was.
It's a small list and it's really, I don't honestly know, but.
Oh, you know what we argued about? We argued about, no, I don't think we did.
Yeah.
I don't think we did argue. I was going to say in the candy episode, I feel like we argued a little bit, but I don't think we did actually.
Yeah, I mean, I I think we both gave each other some like, all right, like, I don't agree with this, but you could put it in the B tier if you want, just to kind of like make each other. But I think that was pretty much it,
Hey,
which is just kind of like agreeing.
Do you love Butterfingers? Was that something? Do you like that candy?
No.
See, that's the thing. How about this? I just thought about this because I just got in a conversation with my friends at a poker night like 3 weeks ago, and Butterfingers came up, and I was like, bro, fuck Butterfingers. That's a terrible candy bar. And all of them were like, we love it. And I remember they started arguing about it, and I was like, I don't care. Like one of my friends was like, dude, Snickers bars are overrated. I was like, I hate this. I don't want to, can we change this? I don't want to do I don't want to do this. And it reminded me about you. And I was like, oh, we didn't even disagree about that one. So
yeah, I will, again, I'll have a fine argument, but it's got to be about some trivial bullshit about like a video game mechanic or like just things that like I fundamentally actually care about, whether or not it's important to anybody else. I'm like, fine. But
yeah,
I also, it's like people have so many opinions at the same shit. I'm like, wait, you want to hear my opinion about, Schindler's List or whatever? It's like, I don't like everyone knows what everyone thinks about that movie. Like, whatever,
Do you not like Schindler's List?
No, it's a fine movie. I don't know why it was the first movie that popped in my head, bro. We were talking about World War II earlier, Although, what's so funny? I was at like a Christmas cookout. Emily, I'll get to your question. I was at a Christmas cookout the other day. I was at like a little Christmas cookout thing, and someone being my father-in-law, just casually puts on Apocalypse Now redo, and it was like, I'm like, I gotta go soon. This is a 3.5 hour epic war movie.
You can't throw on Apocalypse Now. That's not a throw on movie.
He was like, go watch a movie. I was like, yeah, thinking he's gonna put on
like Ocean's 11
or Ocean's 11, just like a casual background movie,
Yeah. Yeah.
Meanwhile, it's like Martin Sheen in a hotel room, like losing his goddamn mind. I'm like, we're watching history right now. Yeah, hey, man, it was so funny.
Do you mind if I throw on a movie? Yeah, what movie do you want to watch? I was gonna put on 2001: A Space Odyssey. Just something to throw on. Right?
Dude,
like,
what? It's like literally just like that. I'm like, this is an intense movie.
Yeah. No, what I was gonna say. Never mind.
What?
I lost it. It was something before. Something before Schindler's List was brought in. What were you saying before that?
I said that like I have an opinion on trivial stuff, and then I said that
I remember it now. Because for me, one of the things I care about and cared about growing up is sports. I never argue about sports with people. That's like the main thing people like to argue about. I never will argue about it. I love sports. I listen to sports podcasts where like I'll listen to Simmons and they'll talk back and forth about stuff. I just take it all in. I don't have an opinion about any of it. I like Boston teams sometimes, depending on the players, but like you're never going to hear me argue that Tom Brady's the GOAT. Like, I just don't care because it's all opinion based. It's all where you think. And then some of it is just not opinion based where people are like LeBron or Jordan. It's like LeBron statistically is better. Like there's just no, and then if you think Jordan is better, then you just think Jordan is better. Like that's the end of it. Like if people go back and forth on that shit, I'm like, who cares? I'll never argue sports because you were mentioning like trivial stuff. I'm like, that's a thing that like people love to argue about. And I don't even do that. I don't argue about sports.
Yeah, it's true. Well, it's because it's just like, all right, cool. Like that's, I'm like, I get it, like,
well, that's the big thing. I get it. I always say I'm a big, I get it guy.
I love saying I get it. Cause honestly, dude, I do.
I get it. I totally get it, bro. If there's anything I get, it's it. I'm a big get it guy. I get it. That's the thing. Like whenever somebody's like telling me something, I'm like, when you ever watch like those people where they freak out, like a Karen public freak out video.
Yeah.
Like whenever the person working with them, because I work in customer service, but like whoever's like dealing with them is arguing back. Whenever somebody's like yelling at someone, if it's me, my position would be to tell the person like, dude, I get it. I get it. Like, you know what I mean? Like somebody's like, how are you going to tell me? I'm like, I get it. Like, I'm
Yeah.
with you. But here's the thing.
Policy stinks.
Yeah,
but
I can't help you, but I get it. And I feel like people need to hear that. They need to hear I get it more
Yeah.
from people. People jump to just arguing and stuff. You just be like, first of all, I get it. I get it,
Yeah, it's true.
Anyways.
Well, I mean, it's like when we worked at Apple, it's that acknowledge, align, and assure,
Yeah.
acknowledge the
Yeah.
problem, align with their frustration, and assure them that you're going to take care of it. Boom, boom, boom,
Yeah. And then you don't do it.
And then you're like, I'm not giving you free headphones. This is the 6th time we've done this.
Well, it's like, and then you tell them about the policy. You're like, I get it. I'm going to help you. And here's why I'm not going to help you. That's the last step, is them telling them like what the policy is and why you can't help them.
Yeah. I saw this like post. It's semi-relevant. I don't know why it popped in my head, but it was like, one of those like chalk signs outside of a bar. That was like, it said, buy 2 drinks and pay for both, and I love that.
It's great. I love it.
So Emily, I'm a big fan of change. I love it. I love change. I think that, that's within reason, I'm a big mover. I love moving. I love changing up like the look, like I just impulsively shave my head, so I'm doing this little like curly Q mustache thing. I don't know. I'm just kind of like, I'm fucking like, yeah, let's try it. I'm a big try guy. I'm a try guy and I'm a change guy. I like trying new stuff and I like changing based on the weather. Really. It's
they go hand in hand. Try and change are big. They hold hands together.
Yeah, for sure. And I think I've always been that way. I've always like, ever since I was like young, I've moved around a lot. I think that I like consistency though. So like, I like having a schedule. I like having a routine of like my day-to-day life of like waking up, brushing my teeth, eating breakfast, reading, starting work. Like I like that as a template. Like my biggest routine that I got into recently is washing the dishes every night before I go to bed, no matter what. And then also when I wake up and I'm running the coffee, unload the dishwasher, put all the dishes away, so that it's just like, and that's the routine. So I'm a change guy, but I like my routine also,
Routine's big. Routine is big for Alex and Casey. We both.
Well, that's just like, I think that routine is like at the core of a healthy, happy life. And that routine looks a lot of different ways for a lot of different people. But I think that that's a super important part of being a semi-productive and successful person in the world, is like having a routine or a template of what your day looks like.
We always remember like those 90s movies, like Fight Club always comes to mind, or like The Matrix and stuff like that. The big thesis statement of a lot of those movies were like, I just get up and I go to the same job and I do the same thing every day and it's hell on earth. I'm like, bro, my life is such chaos. Are you kidding me? That sounds great to have like a steady thing. Like, what a privilege to be in the position of like, oh, I got to do the same thing every day. It's like, bro, I wake up, I don't know what my blood pressure is. I don't know how the day's going to go. What are you talking about? Get out of here. I love it. I love a routine. Give me that. I'll take that fucking job,
Yeah. Well, and there's that, I'm pretty sure it's in Fight Club, but there's like that whole kind of dialogue around how everything's so like bland and templatized and from IKEA, and it's just copy paste everybody's life, and I'm just like, you have a full-time job, and here's the thing, ultimately I'm anti-work, but
of course we're big anti-work guys. Yeah,
totally. At least at like the core of like the employee should have, the benefits, like, I'm not going to go into that whole conversation, but it is funny. It's just like, okay, you have a well-paying job, you've got a house and stuff to do, and like, what's the problem here? It's like, you've got like that's just your foundation. Go do something else. You don't like your job, get another job. That's what, because in 2021, and like r/anti-work, huge. I don't know if you're on that subreddit. Are you on that subreddit?
No, I think I am that subreddit though. I think as a person I'm that subreddit. So
well, it's just like, it's like pro-employee, like very like union focused kind of
employee
dialogue.
empowerment.
Yeah, oh, for sure. Of like, oh, you don't like your job? Fucking quit. Like, what are they gonna do? Like, like they need you. It's that kind,
Yeah.
it's that type of rhetoric. So, and I'm big on that. But 2021 was big for that energy because we were coming out of that whole like COVID, stimulus check. People left their shitty jobs and they're like, I don't want to go back. I'd rather do something that I like to do. And honestly, you should.
Yes. Yeah. But no, I'm with you. But how do you feel about big change though? So it seems like you like medium change. What about the big change? Like trying to think of like COVID or like a fucking 9/11. No, I mean something like that's like life changingly big, because I don't think I could be wrong here, but I do think that sweeping statement, I don't think anybody likes those. I don't think anybody likes like a shakes up, rattles your life, at least in the moment. Maybe with perspective, you look back and you're like, it was actually pretty good that I did that. But like,
Yeah,
like
I
a
think
breakup or something like that, or divorce, or, I don't know. I feel like
those are all awful things. You just listed the top 5 worst things that happen to people. You listed COVID, 9/11, divorce, and breakups.
So Alex, tell me why
and
you
eviction.
like those
So
things.
no, I'm not a big fan of eviction or divorce. Yeah. No,
What's a good big change? What's like a good?
No, I know, like a job promotion. I think that's a good big change.
See, I don't classify
or just like a job. Well, what is it? Like big or like medium good change?
So I guess
medium
it's like
bad change.
I think for me the problem is that when I think of
it's like change, uncontrollable change.
Yeah, when I think of those things, my brain goes to negative. It never goes to positive.
Well, I mean, to be fair, out of the 5 things that you listed, those are like 5 uncontrollably, like, erratic things that can happen or have happened and that you don't necessarily have control over, right? Like, right. If you're getting kicked out of your house, I got bad news for you. Like, you're out of there, Yeah. Well, squatters' rights, but that's a whole other conversation. But so yeah, no, but I do think it's healthy to a certain degree to subject yourself or to even be subjected to the uncomfortable scenarios. Now, I'm not saying like traumatic scenarios, but uncomfortable change or things, because like everything we've talked about so far up until COVID was like positive change or things that you can control, right? Like a haircut or an outfit change, or I'm going to start eating sushi 5 days a week. Like that's all like opt-in change,
Yeah. Opt-in.
Like
that's big.
Like you're deciding to do that.
Yeah.
But I think that like within that, like there's a good amount of mental discipline that comes with just like having to deal with life shit that you don't plan to, right? It's like we can project what 2020 would have been like on the outskirts of 2019, right? And then like that all changed completely, like 180. I mean, bro, we were talking about LA 2020 in 2019. Hilarious. You remember that?
Hilarious. How funny.
So I think that while obviously COVID was a fucking, I like went on, it's awful. But it's taught us to all be a little bit more resilient and to be strong and to overcome situations. And so I think it's important that it's like you're not always necessarily going to like the change, but it's how you react to it, right? Because you can let it kick your ass and you can let it defeat you, or you can be like, okay, this is happening. Here's what I can control in the situation of COVID. I can sanitize my groceries. I can make sure I'm wearing a mask. It's like you have the checklist of things you can do to control your situation. And then just do those to the best of your ability, I think so it's more about the reaction to change rather than like being like, this is awesome, because that's also not healthy.
You bring up an unbelievable point, which is learning to deal with bad change or uncontrollable change is a skill. That's a skill that one has to practice and learn. And so if you're not good at it, that's normal. Nobody's good at that. So like if you can handle that, that's an incredible achievement, because most people are probably like me that like, the light bulb's out of place and I just want to fucking jump out the window. You know what I mean?
Right.
I mean, on the extreme side of it, but like I don't think anybody, is good at that. So if you have that skill, that's a positive thing to like learn to deal with that sort of stuff. Like World
Yeah.
War II happening, you're like, well, we got to deal with it. Like, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
We
You're
gotta
like, okay, what do I do in this situation? Right. And I think that, there's like that famous quote. I think it's like, is it John Lennon? I don't remember, but it's like, life is what happens to you while you're busy making other plans. It's like, that's the whole thing. We're in November of 2019 being like, bro, let's move to LA in 2020. And then we're like, okay, but
Well, how
like,
about, yeah.
but that's the whole thing, so it's like, okay, how do we react to that? And truthfully, I think that, I think we did all right reacting to COVID, all things considered.
Yeah.
Hey, bro, we're all, we both, we have our, we have jobs. We didn't get COVID. Well, we're still out on you getting COVID, but it's not looking good right now, but yeah.
No, I was going to say, how about this for a quote? If you ever want to make God laugh, tell him your plans. Isn't that good? That's fun.
Yeah.
I like that
that's
one.
Great. That's really fun.
That's a fun
I love
one.
quotes. I'm a big quotes guy.
Love quotes.
Love a good
What's your favorite quote? Top 5 quotes. Top 3. 5's a lot. 3. Top 3 quotes.
Well, I think it comes back to the whole change thing, and I don't know, if there's more to it, but just like this ethos of the only way out is through. I love
that. That's a big one. That's a good one. I was going to say, big quote for me. I used to say this a lot. I think it's like Thich Nhat Hanh or somebody like that. But where's the joy? That's a big one for me. Just like, you have to live this life and you have to do these things. And if you're wanting to do them, you have to enjoy them. That's a big thing for me. Like, you have to enjoy it. Otherwise you're going to look back and be like, what the fuck was I doing that whole time? So that's a big one for me. Where's the joy is like kind of like a mantra that I repeat to myself. I forget where I heard it, but it was a couple years ago I heard that. But that's a big one.
That's a good one.
You know what quote
Important.
I love? Got milk. That's a classic.
Yeah.
That's a classic quote, bro.
And it's a crazy one, It's improper English. It's like there's so much going on, and yet they nail it completely.
It's a question. It's big.
And it's all it's lowercase, it's not even sentence case, for Christ's sake.
You know what quote gets a lot of shit? Did we talk about this? But one that gets a lot of shit, and I just heard somebody defending it, and I was like, I was into it, but it is what it is. It gets a lot of shit, but I like that one. That one's kind of zen. It's a little zen. Because it's like, we can't do anything about it. COVID, it is what it is. Like, if I test positive for COVID, it is what it is. Like, I have COVID. Like, you can't be like, well, why do I deal with it? You got to do it, So I actually like that one.
No, that's a good one.
Yeah, a lot of good quotes. So I think my top 3 are "Where's the joy?" "It is what it is," and "Got milk." those are my top 3.
Which, for someone who doesn't even consume milk, I don't think.
Almond milk. Big almond
well,
milk
yeah,
guy.
sure, but that I'm pretty sure that quote was for the dairy industry.
Got almond milk. doesn't hit the same.
Yeah, no. I can see the T-shirt, but it's a little bit more of a mouthful.
Yeah.
Good questions. Really
great questions. Thanks for the email, Emily. We always love hearing from you. And here's the thing, folks. If you enjoyed this episode, us kind of breaking down some questions, if you want your questions answered, the majority of the answer will be do whatever you want. But if you want to hear us just talk about it, write in. This is the show, 69@gmail.com. We'd love to hear from you. Do as listener Emily does in the future. And I think I should do the plugs, right? That's about an hour.
Plug them up. Yeah, I think I don't have Audacity running, so I can't see the ticker. But
no,
I'm but it feels right. It feels like a good.
Yeah. I mean, we got through the.
Plus, it's Christmas Eve. Let these people get back to their family and their pies and their turkeys.
Yeah, and if you're not with your family, we hope you enjoyed the show. And you can watch it tonight. Put on a rerun of Frasier, a Christmas episode, or Home Improvement, or whatever is your fancy, The Office, whichever one you like, put it on. Watch a rerun of a Christmas episode. That always makes me feel better. You can follow us on Instagram at This Is The Show Podcast. You can follow us on Twitter, This Is The Show 69. You can follow us on TikTok, where I've been posting clips, This Is The Show Podcast. We actually had we had one guy. Here's the thing. There was a guy that liked all of them, like in a row.
Yeah.
When I posted the last clip from last week's episode.
Yeah.
If you're that person and you're listening, write in. I want to know. I want to know if you actually converted over to the YouTube.
Are you
and
listening?
to the Spotify.
Yeah,
Are you really listening, or are you just watching the clips? Because you liked all of them. So whoever you are,
they were all good though. To be fair, shout outs to the editor here.
Great clips. But if that was you on TikTok, write in. This is the show, 69@gmail.com. If you're a new listener, that's huge because I'm going to keep posting those clips. And yeah, you can follow me at Casey McGowan with 2 N's on Twitter and Instagram. I don't really tweet. I sent out one tweet yesterday. It actually did pretty good because you gave me the old retweet.
Funny. That was funny.
But yeah, you can follow me there. And where can they follow you?
You can follow me Instagram, Twitter, at Alaska, AALASKAA. I'm always on there talking about esports, posting a little bit more art here. That's a big goal for me in 2022. Just kind of putting my shit out there, getting my stuff seen. So go over there, give me the old follow. And with that, what's the mug say? Hold up. Casey's holding up a mug. We got to see it real quick. This is the best part of Christmas is sharing it with you.
That's to Alex and to all the listeners. Merry Christmas, folks. I love you.
Merry Christmas. We love you. We love doing these episodes with you every weekend, hanging out with you Friday, getting the weekend started. Until next time, I'm one of your hosts, Alex Webb.
I could be wrong here, but hold on. Let me pull up the calendar real quick. I didn't mean to interrupt the flow, but
that's okay. Bro, this podcast is built on the backs of derailment. Please be my guest.
Oh no, next Friday, when we record next week, is December 31st. I was going to say until next year, but that's next week. That's next week's test.
No, because I think we post on Christmas Eve, then we post on New Year's Eve.
Yeah, that's right. So we'll see you folks on New Year's Eve.
All right, we love you. I'm one of your hosts, Alex Webb.
Casey McGowan. Merry Christmas, folks. We love you.
Merry Christmas.
Nice.